Question 263. Why is marriage indissoluble?
Marriage is triply indissoluble. First, because the essence of love is mutual self giving without reservation. Second, because it is an image of God's unconditional faithfulness to his creation. And third, because it represents Christ's devotion to his church, even unto death on the cross. At a time when 50% of marriages in many places end in divorce, every marriage that lasts is a great sign, ultimately a sign for God. On this earth, where so much is relative, people ought to believe in God, who alone is absolute. That is why everything that is not relative is so important. Someone who speaks the truth absolutely or is absolutely loyal. Absolute fidelity in marriage is not so much a human achievement as it is a testimony to the faithfulness of God, who is there even when we betray or forget him in so many ways. To be married in the church means to rely more on God's help than on one's own resources of love. An excerpt from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 to 26 and 28 says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word. Even so, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies."
Question 264. What threatens marriage?
What really threatens marriage is sin. What renews them is forgiveness. What makes them strong is prayer and trust in God's presence. Conflict between men and women, which sometimes reaches the point of mutual hatred in marriages, of all places, is not a sign that the sexes are incompatible. Nor is there such a thing as a genetic disposition to infidelity or some special psychological disability for lifelong commitments. Many marriages, however, are endangered by a lack of communication and consideration. Then there are economic and societal problems. The decisive role is played by the reality of sin, envy, love of power, a tendency to quarrel, lust, infidelity, and other destructive forces. That is why forgiveness and reconciliation, in confession as well, is an essential part of every marriage.
Question 265. Are all people called to marriage?
Not everyone is called to marriage. Even people who live alone can have fulfillment in life. To many of them, Jesus shows a special way. He invites them to remain unmarried for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Matthew chapter 19, verse 12. Many people who live alone suffer from loneliness, which they perceive only as a lack and a disadvantage. Yet a person who does not have to care for a spouse or a family also enjoys freedom and independence and has time to do meaningful and important things that a married person would never get to do. Maybe it is God's will that he should care for people for whom no one else cares. Not uncommonly, God even calls such a person to be especially close to him. This is the case when one senses a desire to renounce marriage for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Of course, a Christian vocation can never mean despising marriage or sexuality. Voluntary celibacy can be practiced only through love. God is more important than anything else in the world. So when a person makes a vow of celibacy, it is a powerful sign that God is more important. The unmarried person renounces a sexual relationship, but not love. Sex must include love, but love does not need to include sex. Hello, my name is Hannah Goldblate, and this is my name sign. I'm from the state of New Mexico. I want to thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you again next week.